That they are, and we're already seeing things going off here. So for anybody just tuning in, is Little Box on CTs and OSADIA starting things off already on the side of the terrorist, and there it is already. I told you it's gonna be this banana control, and it is just a flood of OSADIA players already pushing their way through.
Oh, it is all about the banana, right? But luckily, though, banana's well gone away. B-side full control of OSADIA now. Cato's going to go for the plant, but Sapphire's dialed far, far back, trying to find the isolated 1v1s, unable to do so. It's going to be up to OSADIA. Melting away, though. One left alive. It's down to Jen, trying to hold it through, but this USPS way too much when it comes to the noggin. Opening pick, though, goes well for Little Box. But how did that retake work out so effectively?
Honestly, it's so well executed. You have that expectation, right? We talked about this a bit when the map picks came out. This is Little Box's map pick. This is something that they're going to be very familiar with. All teams in Counter-Strike, if you want to make it through, Inferno is going to be one of the very early maps that you play, and this is what we saw here. I talked about that banana control. So Little Box said, you know what? You want banana, take the site. We'll just retake S5, and retake S5 they did. They had the crossfires already ready to go. They didn't even matter if all of that utility was there, line of sight gone. They just knew where to shoot, where that plant expectation was, and they read OSADIA's playbook like a book, I guess. That pun kind of worked out in and of its favor. We're looking at round number 2 here. It's going to be a little bit slow on the side of OSADIA, knowing that they're having to face against all of the gun buys that the Little Box are now equipping. You're even seeing the hero rifle in the arms of Bouchard. Hopefully I'm saying all of these names right, but that is already a smoke. And the initial execute with the shot to the head found by Jen, and that is a nice opening pick. Not sure if they can capitalize on it yet, Keg, but
yeah,
they're going to fall back and try to see what sort of adjustments and look. Again, banana is the play with the numbers advantage. I feel like this is still possible, but it's going to be tough against the guns and still a lot of the utility available on the side of the box.
Yeah, we're looking at the akimbo here. We have the quad Deegs coming out as well. Bouchard and Kimmy seem to be ready, though. The immediate mowdown does land in a trade. It's going to be Bouchard, though, to hold the fort. Has to back off some map control, though, as the flash comes by. 3v3, though, and again, keeping on the weapons that OSADIA have brought out. They have to find those headshots immediately. But Bouchard's waiting for that over-aggressive peak. It's going to allow, though. You've got opening contact. The plant goes down. The bomb is in play. Bouchard good for one. The trades once more. Jen, absolute queen of doing so. But it's going to be, though, yet another trade. No matter what we've seen so far, Saturday, it seems like even with the opening pick going in OSADIA's favor and that rotate all the way into banana, right? It's just not enough. We have Little Box just playing for the retake on B almost flawlessly every round.
I mean, I would say it could have been worse. We're looking at a bit of a frazzled economy on the side of Little Box now, but they managed to save the 2 most important rifles that they could carrying into this. So it's not totally impactful. It just needs to carry into maintaining this momentum. The key thing here is that they understood that despite that early on pick, but look at this aggression. As I say this, they won't even let me finish my thought here. Bouchard swapping it out, taking that FAMAS, running down middle here. It's just a bloodbath over in the side of the entry for both teams.
Absolute war zone, though. Bouchard finds herself in the middle of destruction, but comes away unscathed. Velveeta falls, and it's going to be down to Nabita, last alive. Well, Cato is there, but way off ways. Cato does reply a little bit with space, but now truly last alive. One by one, they all fall. It's Little Box with 2 left alive. Kimmy and Sapphire, 2 important rifles, like we mentioned last round, find themselves the last alive again. They're the 2 that play the slowest so far this round. They've pushed up, they found some action, but now holding these corners. Good for one. It's Sapphire to clean it up, and Little Box, they have gone flawless so far. 3-0 against OSADIA, and it feels like OSADIA have a strong early game. Oftentimes they're good for the opening pick or even the opening trade, but feels like towards the end of the middle and maybe even late round, it's just the plot kind of falls apart. They stretch themselves too thin, and OSADIA find themselves in those 1v2s more often than not.
Yeah, and now their economy is not existent at this point. I mean, that was
all Deegs.
That was an absolute strategy there, right, from the side of Little Box to just give Bouchard, who is like their rifler, just like, hey, run down mid and see what damage you can do. And damage she did, taking down almost like everybody, not expecting someone. Because what? You know that they'll have rifles. We have rifles. You're expecting long-range gunfights, not something up close like that. And it's just all about catching them off guard. And that's already 3 on the side again of Little Box. And they're, you know what? They heard me at the start of the match and they're like, we'll have you eat your words right now, Saj. We'll show you why this is our map pick of choice. It is just picks back and forth. This is the safe round that they know is existing on the side of OSADÍA, and they're making it known.
Oh, and Kato falls. Another round for Little Box. It's worth mentioning, like we said that maybe OSADÍA would find success maybe in maps 2 and 3, but Little Box did choose Inferno at the very beginning of this set here. So worth noting that we still think there's high hopes for OSADÍA, of course. 0-4 doesn't spell a whole lot of gloom and doom for the team, but it's worth noting, though, again, the comfort pick for Little Box here. First map they wanted to choose was Inferno. That's going to make maps 2 and 3, of course, much more interesting, but if you're in Little Box position, you need to win the map that you choose in the veto process. Bouchard and company, they pushed up quite a bit, but the banana take comes back in full force again. It's going to be a 1-by-1, a trickle in, no smoke seen. Though Molly is used to create some space. Another one brought out by Little Box to stall out this fast aggressive play, but Jen did make it by, soon to fall immediately. And now again, pushing through the smoke 1-by-1, very little tradability. To be OSADÍA finding themselves with 1 left alive at only 30 HP. Namita does what she could, her best to do. It's just looking like the same round almost over and over again.
Yeah, this is where I'd like to see a lot more of a deeper utility usage from the side of OSADÍA. They keep getting contested over at coffins by whoever is playing there. It was Bouchard a few rounds earlier. Now it was Kimmy this time around. The only person they can't figure out is who's playing in the back of site and where exactly. However, you already know you need to smoke out your connector and you need to smoke out the coffins and make your way onto site. They managed to push through to start, but for some reason they just keep getting stuck on the entry, and it looks like they're going to just keep trying it again. Perhaps this time around they'll manage to get that pick. No, it's Bouchard with the first blood.
Oh, great corner hold from Bouchard, and of course Kimmy clutches up as well. This is a big turnaround that we could potentially see from OSADÍA, but the up from Cleonetta from the very back is going to be what hurts the most. Bomb does go down though. A bit of an adjustment from the last few rounds. We did see it go down in the opening pistol, but with Burb being the last really fullish health person alive for OSADÍA's side, it's going to make things a little rough for Kato. Burge does find 1, but again, the meltdown comes by, and same story again. A defuse, only the added extra chapter for this one.
Yeah, and I guess if you're OSADÍA, you're like, okay, we made it to site. We actually got the spike down this time, or the bomb down this time around. Let's go from there. What can we do? But again, economy hurting, and if you're a Little Box, you have to feel really good right now. And it comes down to, are they going to attempt to do another hard push down middle? Are they going to be a bit of control this time around? If you even notice, the way the Little Box have been playing here, rotating and swapping some of their players around as far as where they're holding, has been really working out for them. And Cleonetta on that op as well, not like, knowing that that's in her hands is going to be a lot more contentious for the side of OSADÍA, knowing that they have to remove and smoke that out whenever they try to make a cross or a play as they try to make their way onto site. So kind of looking into this, maybe not this round, they're coming into this, okay, they're going to buy, we're seeing AKs all around, and looks like they want to make another attempt. But it's almost like they need to change it up a little, right? We're seeing that right now. Now it's going to be a bit of an apartment play. We're going to try and make and see and test defenses over on A. So hopefully it fares a little better for them. But I like the way that the Bocks are holding this right now. It's close corners and not expecting it. They're already just like sitting inside and getting those picks.
Yeah, I'm looking at the mini-map too, right? OSADÍA, all spread out apart. Very little tradability, but though, again, holding the gunfights to their own very well. Jen gets a double on top of apartments. Fantastic to see. It's actually leaving Little Box for the first time this whole map on the back foot. It's down to Bouchard now. She has to clutch back up on A. The bomb hasn't gone down just yet. Of course, as I say, that it does appear onto the screen. Gonna be a lot of map coverage to retake, though, in these 1v1s. Though, if you're OSADÍA, though, you're comfortable with the 1v1s. You want to make sure you can still get that tradability, hold those same angles if you can, but be sure you're careful about it. Hiding in the smoke, though, Bouchard is able to push up, and Jen's none the wiser. She turns around, does find Bouchard, and for the first time now, we see OSADÍA around on the board, and CSGO, I think, are completely right. A lot of it had to do with a bit of a slower early game. The adjustments about going through mid into A, and really kind of throwing Little Bocks in for a loop, right? We saw a lot more gunplay that seemed like it was uncomfortable for Bocks to initiate in, right?
Yeah, so the way that played out is that, okay, just because you're losing some bodies this time around, though, OSADÍA allowed themselves to get the trades they really much needed. Just because your entry fragger is coming in and dying doesn't mean that it's futile if you can get the trades, because at the end of the day, losing bodies on the side of the counter-terrorist versus the terrorist, it's so much more impactful. And that is what OSADÍA did there. They managed to get those trades, get themselves onto site. Eventually, numbers ended up in their favor, and that's a round that swung in their favor.
Oh, keep an eye on Kimmy on the minimap, though. Molly thrown right in front of her, able to survive, and Smiley's there up above for the crossfire as well. That's huge. Another body gone, OSADÍA. We'll see you next round. Namita, though, and Jen struggling a little bit. Though there is some pressure going up towards Banana. It's not going to last forever, though. Namita falls. Flawless round still for Little Bocks. All holding their angles, waiting for that entry. OSADÍA, though, not able to find the entry quite much this round, though. We do see Burbuja holding the op. Not sure if she wants the entry with it, though, or want to save it for the next round. The economy hasn't been looking good for OSADÍA as of late. A lot of ping-ponging going through. A lot of eco rounds that we've seen, Saj, but in the final 30 seconds of this round, it's looking like Burbuja's trying to clear some space, but she's unable to do so. Bouchard and Kinetta crossfire in play again. B site remains to be impenetrable, it looks like, for OSADÍA to find their entry.
Yeah, and they've even donated that op over.
That was the worst part.
Has to feel bad, and we're noticing a trend here that OSADÍA, there seems to be this constant attempt to, while I emphasize this at the start, that there is definitely a big importance to being able to control the banana, mid presence is also something that I said still needs to happen. You don't just go all 5 banana and not have any presence.
Oh!
As I say that, though, oh my god, the fires of hell that Little Bocks had just shut down any attempt of pushing that OSADÍA had. And blink of an eye, OSADÍA is on her own against the 3. Can she find some way to isolate this matchup? Nothing but a Mac 10 in her hands. Keg, I don't know. It's not happening. It's not happening.
And I was so prepared to start complimenting OSADÍA on that round too, right? You talked about how mid usage or mid positioning was so important, right? And we just saw OSADÍA completely disregard it. Little Bocks were forced into back positions, waiting for the entry against OSADÍA. And when that entry finally happened, we saw how spread out Little Bocks could be on A. Even if there were more bodies on A side, it was a struggle to hold those positions. But the double molly in the beginning really set things off on the wrong course for OSADÍA. And the response from Little Bocks here is actually to play ultra aggressive. We saw this on the first rifle round from Little Bocks as well. And now because of that, unexpectedly, make sure that economy stays down the drain. The op doesn't quite fully kill, but Kinetta still collects it up. 2 bodies already gone off of OSADÍA. And now look where they're at. No heavily damaged nist just yet, but the solo entry from apartments goes down. It's only gonna be 2 left. Right in front of our Babushka has found themselves dead. Not gonna be the best position though. Kato looking to find a late trade, maybe help out here with Namita. Sapphire down below though, the immediate blind spot good for 1, but the trade wasn't quite there in time. Kato though makes it up. It's gonna be the drop down. 1 more though, perfect timing though from Little Bocks there. And again, that lead just keeps on growing, it seems, and the economy feels like we're back into a very familiar spot that we've seen OSADÍA in quite a bit on the T side.
Yep. We're looking at the replay here. This absolutely cannot continue to happen. OSADÍA needs to find an answer to this aggressive push that the Little Bocks are doing down middle. And I was going to say, I misinterpreted perhaps. This is actually OSADÍA's pick. So even more concerning that they are getting absolutely controlled by the Little Bocks here. I mean, this is kind of why we're seeing why the Little Box have been directly invited to this tournament, right? OSADIA, they're going to have to figure something out as far as what they need to do to answer to that aggressive play that they have, because you cannot leave your mid just absolutely controlled, space already taken by the side of the Little Box so early in the game like that. It just absolutely demolishes them. And even like with this early smoke out to close that, you cannot just expect them to sit patiently waiting for you to go through. Oh my god, even with the flash to the teammate, it don't matter. They still find your head.
Double CT up now from Little Box. I mean, that is the ultimate flex, right? But I agree. And I think that match pause was really important too. I like what OSADIA is doing in their early game. They're putting pressure on A through mid, and it's really throwing Little Box in for a loop. But the adjustment here, Little Box only have one on B side, and it's going to be down to, well, it was Kimmy, but now she's completely gone. That's almost full B side control, but it's a solo entry on the site. Bouchard, if she were to fall, that would be doomsday for Little Box, but luckily though, she's able to trade it up. I mean though, that lone up right on the other base part of Banana here. Smoke will go down. That'll help block the line of sight, but Sapphire holding on A side on her own like a little goalie. It's gonna be though this B Banana push. That's the most deadly. Beagle goes by, never sees it above the smoke. Bavita finds herself blast alive with the op. It doesn't seem like, though, this op will last for very much longer. Molly stays away, making sure the entry's impossible to be in. She's sandwiched, completely grouped up. Now, Sajidine, I don't know about you, but I've never heard of a banana sandwich before. But certainly, though, that's the most enticing part to eat, I suppose. The bread remains, and it's Little Box to take it 9 rounds now over OSADIA.
Watching just the map movement right now of the Little Box just really shows you, one, how, this is a seasoned roster that has experience and even earnings to speak under their belt as far as like why this is a map that like you don't want to give to us. And they're just showing like despite like the line of sight with the smokes and the utility pushing through, they are aggressing and then they're compressing themselves. Like it's you talk about that sandwich, you constantly see that with the way that they're moving and they pincher around the rest of OSADIA. And that's not a position you want to be in if you're the terrorists in this map.
Ooh, look at this, though, Jen. Just about ready. It's a double peak, though, from Little Box. It was looking so good again for OSADIA. There's still a lot of potential, though, especially towards mid. Let me done. Burbu now, looking to push towards A. Oh, it's all 3. This is looking good, though. They have that spacing required. One top of apartments with the early Molly. Create that space. 4's uncomfortable positions for Little Box. Returning Molly, though, into a double kill for Sapphire's remaining true. A triple for Sapphire. Nice. But it's a meltdown against OSADIA. And like you mentioned, this is OSADIA's map pick. Hopefully, though, maybe they'll look better on the CT side because so far, they're just not finding those entry potentials. And one strong thing I think we haven't talked about yet, how important the opening picks have been, too, for Little Box.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And again, it's the aggression that they're displaying here as far as being able to confidently take those picks.
Wow.
Just like that, you are already seeing it. Oh my gosh, and that's a T2. Oh,
the round's over.
Unfortunate. Can't even finish my train of thought, but this is the perfect round example of that aggressiveness and getting those early picks, like you said. And something that I have to commend the way the Little Box have been playing too is like guaranteeing like getting those trades and not allowing OSADIA to do that for themselves. We saw it one round, and that's what I commended them in, is that they were able to get trades in their favor to be able to capture site. And right now, the way OSADIA is positioning themselves, they're not allowing for that to happen as they're constantly trying to contest. And just look at this. This is the one round, another round where we're seeing it in favor. And again, it's like the push through mid, and it's a lot in the back of like the Molly and the utility. And it's just really like just the craziness of these Mac 10s in their hands, honestly.
Kimmy. Oh, Kimmy, that was disgusting. But you're completely right too, right? I think what we saw from Little Bocks in the beginning of this round was a complete disrespect for all the util that OSADIA is bringing out, right? Sapphire running just straight through the molly, trying to find that opening pick in mid. Doesn't quite work her way though, and it does give an opportunity for OSADIA. Speaking of which, though, I feel like we've seen this situation before. A stack up right outside mid, trying to push in towards A. But last time we saw this, though, I believe it was Sapphire who got a triple kill outside of apartments. And it's not going to be that much different. Or maybe it will. Jen does take down Bouchard, and more map control has been gained. But this op, like a sentry turret, does get shut down in a blind spot. It's going to leave Kimmy, though, the last alive. And it makes me wonder, you're up 11 rounds. You're coming close to the end of the first half. Do you want to save this up, 15 HP, or do you just say, screw it, let's go for it?
I mean, I say you're going to go for exit picks unless you feel confident enough that you can generate those one-on-one situations for this operator in hand, or maybe find a rifle down to speak, but I'm not...
It's going to come down to cut, though.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to try to flush someone out, but if you want to give that operator in hand, trying to see if you can get a pick here, that's just coming down to the confidence. A bit of an ego, maybe, perhaps here. Not something that they're too worried about. It's already a round going to the side of OSADIA and another. This is, honestly, it's exactly what happened when they've won their first round, is that they managed to get those trades and isolations. When you pointed out that it was like, I want to say, like, I think Kionetta or no Kim, it was, I think Kimmy, like sitting in hell, one of the Little Box sitting in the pits over on A site. Nobody was there to trade for that body, so it actually works out, manages to swing in the favor of OSADIA because everything was a 1 versus 1 instead of a 2v1 situation for them. But it's Kimmy just rocking down middle right now with that op. Can't even let me finish my train of thought here. All of these aggressive kills. She's... Oh, I was going to say, maybe she's looking for that ace. That was a triple kill before she fell. And again, the round is done so quick and fast here, Keg. Oh, man.
Over so quickly, right? I mean,
yeah,
we are seeing so much... with the most amount of respect, ego plays coming out from Little Bocks, right?
Yeah.
Disrespecting Molly util, looking for the opening pick, and the wildest part, right? It's working well for Little Bocks.
Thought, though, Keg, it's at the half, so we're gonna jump into a quick break over here, and we'll be back as we switch, and then I'll dissect your thoughts here for that half.
Yes.
back on my own. Knock 'em down. Stand up. Shout.
Welcome back, everybody. What if I told you OSADÍA had chosen map number 1? A team that had made all their way through not only the open qualifiers, but had matched up into the close quals of ESL Impact against Little Bocks, a team who had already started things off inside of close. They didn't have to fight through the open quals like OSADÍA did, but now it's a gigantic mountain to climb. A map that should have been in OSADÍA's favor, a map that could very well swing back into an even scoreline, but it's going to be a difficult challenge. Welcome back. My name is Keg, and this is Sajidine. And Saj, what can OSADÍA do here? What is the course of events? How many rounds do they need in a row to bring this back to a competitive matchup?
Well, it's going to be, like you said, a very steep mountain to climb. If you're OSADÍA right now, you just got to tell yourself, all right, mental reset. It's CT-sided. We got this. Can't let them through, can't let them in. And it's just all about making sure what we've seen this on the side of Little Bocks when they were on CT, how aggressive they're playing. If that translates to how they are on the terrorist side, if you're OSADÍA right now, I would spend all my money on utility, but it looks like utility usage on their side's not so much. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do, what their answer is to what potentially could be aggression across the board. As I say that, though, there's a bit of a pause. No, they're going to hold. I feel like Little Bocks, they're looking for picks.
They are. Keep an eye on Kimmy too, right? 19-8 on the scoreboard. Number 1 on the server right now. Of course, OSADÍA can't really say the same for their score line, but they have opportunities to bring it back here. It's a slow push for Little Bocks, though, towards top of Banana. I see
why. It's a 4-stack over on A site. That's why they're like, okay, utility, we don't need it if we can have you have armor, you have one diffuse kit ready to go. It's going to be a retake of 5 on the side of OSADÍA is going to be the strategy here. That's an initial smoke to start things off. They're just going to give up sight for the most part, hoping for a pick. Not going to find it. Does some damage, though, to the bodies of Little Bocks. So rest of OSADÍA hoping to see if they can make sure that sacrifice of their teammate goes in their favor.
And remember, that's exactly what Little Bocks themselves in the defense had done their own pistol round. They went for a quick retake onside of B, but the core difference was that by the time OSADÍA had planted on B site on pistol, they were already met with Little Bocks defense immediately. The same can't be said here, though. Little Bocks, they took it in a 4v1 on B site. They were able to mow down what was left of OSADÍA on the defense and took down the retake in the process. And man,
I mean, you saw did you see what I have to point that out? We talked about it. I talked about the aggression that the Little Bocks had. They didn't stick around and hold post-plant positions. They pushed through all of the utility that was already down and caught a very surprised OSADÍA coming in for the retake, not in any position yet, and just picked them off. That is insane.
Sanity may ensue, though. Opening pick from Sapphire. What a solid one. It keeps on going, an absolute blender right outside the apartments. It's giving multiple bodies down for OSADÍA. There are 3 left alive, but look at Jen. She's a lot worse for wear. She's at 19 HP. So little armor to work off of as well. But OSADÍA, they're going for the collapse. Keep an eye on Bouchard, though. She's going to be the gatekeeper of whether or not this retake could work. Kianet is there for the spray through the smoke to help out, allow that rotate for Bouchard to go to the other side of Banana. That being said, though, early damage. A frag grenade will take down Jen, and it's going to leave the bodies a lot more, well, completely gone, I guess. And 15-2, OSADÍA. Now, I don't know about you, Sajidine. If I'm OSADÍA now and this is my map pick, I'm really trying to start this counter strat for map 2.
Yeah, you kind of just have to figure out your mental over here and leave it in this map that is Inferno. If it is hell, then so be it. You fight another day. I mean, it's not over till it's over, but you're seeing the AKs and the Galils coming out already on the side of them. And just look at the mow down running through that Kimmy has with that Mac 10 as... Oh, it's a trade, but it's still a very costly one. More in favor for the Little Box.
Oh,
because They
no.
have the better guns.
They do. Oh, hello, Sapphire. Oh, that's going to be straight to the noggin, too. Everywhere we look, it's another body of OSADÍA going down. The only exception is going to be OSADÍA. She's the last one alive here, and she has to be pretty much back where she started, back in spawn, deagle in hand. And I mean, you're going up against AKs and Galils right through the smoke, too. You don't know what's on the other side. It's a wall of death, supposedly. And while the angles are held, OSADÍA may be able to find a little bit of impact, especially catching off a stray. Oh, the shot does 2 hit, but again, she found herself in a trade. It was a gigantic bear trap, and the bait was taken.
Ooh. This is the winning moment right here. We're already seeing it be player cams. That's so cute. Oh, that is a nice green screen background and everything. You know
I wish
what?
I was there.
Right? Yes, and a girl after my own heart with the nice little plushie sitting in the background here. Little